So the hubby and I are headed to the farmer's market this morning. We've kind of got a lot going on. We're headed to the farmer's market, and then my dad is headed over, even though his shoulder is still broken and I'd prefer he didn't drive, but he's still coming over because he's excited to see the house that we're moving into. So we gotta go to the farmer's market and pick some stuff up before he gets here because he's always really early. We seriously have the best farmer's markets in Arizona though, right hubby? Would you say yes? Yeah. Our farmers markets are great, so when we get there we'll show you guys a little bit of it. What time did you get here, Dad? You were supposed to be here
at 9:17.
Which is like late for you, basically.
Yeah.
It's rolling currently.
So what button do I push?
I already pushed it for you. You don't have to push anything.
That?
Don't push anything. I already pushed it.
When will it?
And then just make sure your finger's not.
All right. What do I do?
Nothing. Just make sure your finger's not in the way.
I'm not in the way.
There you go.
Okay, that's good. I don't push the thing.
Nope.
Okay. Make sure it done what you expect it to do.
Think of the Burger Fi burger.
It's fine.
Very romantic. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to start The Tale of the Shikanoko. I mentioned it in a book haul recently, which first off, I can't get over how cool the artwork is. This is an Asian-inspired fantasy series, and I have so many other things on my TBR, but do you guys do that where you're just like, I know I have all these things on my TBR, but I just don't want to read any of them. I want to read this book. But I'm very ready to go because I've got a bookmark here, I've got my reading light, a brand new pack of batteries because I run through my reading light's power really fast. Got some water, of course, and then a blankie in case I want to snuggle with myself, I guess, in my book. What are you reading, hubby?
I'm reading The Seven Soldiers of Victory by Grant Morrison.
What's that about?
I don't even know.
Alright, we're taking a little bit of a break from our reading weekend to make some lunch, and we're making some pork chops. I've mentioned in a couple videos recently that the hubby and I are making an effort to only eat meat that comes from farms we know treats the animals humanely, and we're trying to get from local farms also, so it's good for both the planet and for animals. When we went back to the farmer's market, we just had to get more, and we told ourselves this is going to be like our weekend fancy meal. Is our, it doesn't look fancy at all, our pork chops. While the food's cooking though, a little update on this book. I think like exactly 100 pages into it. It's actually really short. I think it's only a couple hundred pages. Let's see. Yeah, it's not very long. I think it's a good thing that I'm reading it, a lot of it all at once and not in small chunks, because it's a lot of names and a lot of politics thrown at you right away. So I'm really excited because I wrote a song recently that's supposed to be inspired by some characters from a series I love. And if you guys have seen my Witcher video where I do the violin cover, it's kind of like that, where I'm going to play all the parts. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. So I found this recipe online to make cinnamon pecans using maple syrup, salt, vanilla extract, and then cinnamon. I'm hoping it turns out super yummy. The pecans turned out amazing. They taste so good. I actually added some sugar in there, so they're not as healthy, but they taste delicious. Alright, so I finished this book, and update, I hated it. I am very upset at some stuff that's in this book, and I was looking at the next one, the beginning of the next one, and man, I'm going to go off.
I am understanding Seven Soldiers of Victory more as I progress. And Frankenstein is riding some sort of Martian creature, and that's enough to give me the go-ahead to give it a thumbs up.
Unlike mine.
Unlike yours.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the next day. I got some sleep, and I really wanted to let you guys know why I was so upset with the tale of Shikanoko. So in order to do that, I do have to kind of give away some spoilers. In this book, it's rape. It's full-on rape of a young virgin girl, and it's done by our hero of the story because the bad guy essentially casts a spell on our hero that makes him do this terrible thing. How the author handles it at the beginning of the next book, because I was very curious, I can't imagine a rape scene being dealt with any worse. I was shocked because I do happen to have the next one. I broke my rule and I went ahead and bought the sequels before reading the first one, and now I very much wish I hadn't. But I was really curious as to the female's perspective, because she does have a perspective in the first book. Throughout the whole book, they've made references to the fact that she's had a lot of combat training. She knows how to defend herself. She always carries a knife. And she even tells him before they go to sleep, she says, if you try to harm me, I need you to know I'm sworn to this temple. I hold this very dear to me, and I will fight you if you try to harm me. And he's like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm not gonna hurt you. And then when this evil spell is cast on him and he does end up raping her, she doesn't fight at all, which is something that can happen. Even if they have all the training in the world, that is a very realistic thing that can happen. People can freeze up, and that's what she does. The book ends on the man's perspective who raped her, and then it gets into her perspective a few chapters in book 2, and I wanted to see, like, would they address the fact that she didn't try to fight him? Like, what were her thoughts? And, like, I'm sure she's devastated, all this stuff. And I cannot believe how in poor taste this was done, because pretty much as soon as it goes into her perspective, it addresses this whole scene, of course, because this is terrible and traumatic. And it says she could never become a shrine maiden now, never undo what they had done. And I'm like, they? But then the very next sentence says she was filled with regret and fear. Surely the gods would punish them. And again, I'm like, why does it keep saying them? And it gets so much worse. You get her direct thoughts after that, and it says, I could have fought him off, she thought. And she says, I could have killed him, why didn't I? And then she answers herself and says, because I wanted to touch his skin, place my mouth on his, be held by him, and hold him. By the way, they met earlier that day. And then it says, and I have done so ever since I saw him. Saw him like hours earlier. Ugh. And then it says, but I did not know what it would be like. So brutal and so painful. And part of me is like, yeah, you think rape is gonna be this lovey-dovey thing? How, like, what? I, of course, do not get to claim that I know anything about how a person should or would react in that situation. I just personally find it disgusting. It's already terrible that she was raped, this character, but then after that, to not only have her blame herself, which is the only part I could see being somewhat realistic, because people do that, but not only is she blaming herself, she's constantly using they, like both her and the guy, as if she had any say in what was going on. So I hate that she blamed herself, and then she was kind of putting them together as if they should both be punished for this. That's just the most disgusting, sickening idea to me. For her to say that, like, well, I did think he was good looking, that kind of loops in with the blaming yourself, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I see the most beautiful man in the world. It doesn't give them the right. It doesn't mean that I deserve it because I thought they were good looking. And then for her to say, well, I really didn't know it would be so painful. It's like, but I think the part that I had the biggest issue with was that she basically said she wanted it. She said, I wanted to feel his skin against mine. I wanted to feel his mouth on mine. I wanted to feel all that. It's just, it hurt or whatever. And people wonder why our society is so confused about consent. Because apparently when a woman gets raped, She kind of wanted it though. So yeah, that's why I hated this book. I feel like I need to read a fluffy, happy book now because I need something that's light and like feel good. Should we go see? Let's go look at my bookshelf. Let's go look at my bookshelf and see if we can find something that fits that criteria. Okay, so this shelf is a good one. It's got lemon gelato, which has some ice cream. So, you know, don't think it's gonna have anything too upsetting in it. To all the boys I've left before, I've heard is cute and fluffy. And then this series, I've heard it's like The Bachelor, basically. And it's just kind of like a fun, silly, lots of drama type read. Wow, look how dusty my bookshelf is. Ugh, gross. I don't know, this one's calling to me. I mean, let's just look at this cover. Let's look at that. I don't know. That looks pretty happy and fluffy to me. Anyway, I think this is where I'm gonna end this vlog with my happy cutesy book and surrounded by my beautiful Sanderson books and Polish Switcher books because those make me happy. I will see you guys soon. Bye.